Rarity fine. I got so big an army cocks, a gin and tonic on the rocks, where angels fear to tread. I say, choose your booze, let's hit the red eye. Think of young Diana Durbin and how she sung on rum and bourbon, or enhance your luncheon hour with a planter's punch and a whiskey sour. If you feel like a wreck, try a horse's neck or a sherry with a cherry in the new finer size. If you don't name your poison, I'll have to get the boys in. The spirit of adventure opens one's eyes.
Metal Gen, we have reached the end.
After many weeks
and many long nights, we have finally reached the end
of Beating the Heat.
Woo! Alright, let's kill this turkey!
Yeah, let's do this!
Pipsqueak slowly returned to consciousness. He yawned and blinked his eyes, free of sleep. He looked around. He was in his little guest room in the palace, snuggled into his very nice bed. Pipsqueak frowned.
Weird. I thought
Door opened and a tiny breakfast tray floated in ahead of Princess Luna. The goddess of the night looked pleasant, if a bit frazzled. Pipsqueak beamed happily.
Princess Luna!
Good morning, Pipsqueak.
Luna said.
How art thou this morning?
She set the breakfast tray on the bed, and Pipsqueak eagerly took in the delicious spread, his favorite cereal, toast, and some fruit diced into thin slices.
Great, Princess Luna,
he said. He dug in and munched his way through the cereal first. Luna watched quite patiently.
I see. Tell me, young Pipsqueak, what dost thou remember of yesterday?
Pipsqueak swallowed his food, as he had been taught by his parents, and thought about it.
I remember I was playing pirate game, and painting and playing more pirate, and then you had to leave, and then Mr. Stormcrow and his wife came into play, but they were a bit too tired to be any fun.
He smiled cheerfully.
Then there was this bright light, this wonderful light, and I think I fell asleep because next thing I knew, I was waking up in bed.
Yes.
That is all, Luna said, with a nod and smiled. Pipsqueak frowned.
What happened, Princess?
Well...
Luna sighed and rested a hand on Pipsqueak's shoulder.
You must understand, Pipsqueak, that you and every other pony in Equestria who was underage was put to sleep by the usage of the elements of harmony. You remember how that felt last time?
Right, but what are the elements of harmony have to be used against? Was it some kind of horrible monster? A demon?
He gasped and held his hooves to his mouth.
It wasn't Princess Cadence, was it?
Who?
Luna asked. Pipsqueak shrugged.
It just came to mind.
No, Pipsqueak. It was a complex threat that you are not yet old enough to take hold of. Actually, that works just as well, but I'm going to say it correctly. To be told of.
Luna said, stroking his back.
But when you're older, you will understand. I promise.
She nuzzled the top of his head, and he giggled cutely. She smiled back at him.
Now, finish your breakfast. I am going to take you flying.
Pipsqueak frowned.
Aren't my mummy and daddy coming to take me home soon?
Ah!
Luna tapped her hooves together.
I'm afraid they're a bit delayed. They've been very physically active, you understand?
Doing what?
Pipsqueak asked, looking a bit happy.
Oh, something you'll understand when you're older.
Luna said, patting his head. At his pouch, she smiled.
Don't worry, though. At the end of it, you might have a new baby sister.
Oh!
Pipsqueak blinked.
So, they were shagging then.
And poor Luna felt a part of her soul die.
As did mine.
3 days later.
In the palace. In the throne room of the palace. On the big-ass
Motherfucking ranch!
Speckled, flower-covered, apple tree-coated, hilly, gorge-filled, river-winding, big ass
Motherfucking ranch!
3 days later, the throne room of the day court was subdued. Twilight had visited often, but even on her visits to speak to her beloved mentor, there were some guards and courtiers hanging around at all times. Today, though, the cracked double doors, Twilight could see there was only Princess Luna on her throne.
You mean Celestia?
Princess... what did I say?
Luna.
Well, it should be. Princess Celestia on her throne, looking regal as usual.
Ah, come in, my beloved student.
Celestia said, smoothly. But the unicorn coughed and entered slowly, her head held down.
Good morning, Princess Celestia.
Twilight said softly.
Good morning.
She said cheerfully. Twilight came to a stop before the throne.
My dear student, please look up.
Celestia said softly.
Don't be ashamed.
But I lied to every pony.
I was nice today.
Twilight said miserably.
And I spread the heat to all of Equestria. Think of the chaos. Think of the destruction.
Think of the fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now. It wasn't that bad.
Wink, wink. Celestia said.
It only lasted 10 minutes. Any pony who was underage was simply put to sleep.
See, perverts? Nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
The princess smiled.
Admittedly,
There will be a lot of embarrassment later, but no lasting repercussions.
her smile grew.
And it seems like some random pairings are going to work out quite well.
Wink, wink.
Meanwhile,
in the Everfree Forest, on the big-ass motherfucking ranch,
come along, my wonderful prince. Your laziness is enough to make me wince.
Zecora said, snapping a walking stick over Prince Blueblood's bottom. He upped and rolled out of bed.
Ow! You wretched! How dare you strike my royal hindquarters?
The zebra smirked.
Complaining last night, I did not hear. So get up, unless you want a bruised rear.
Prince Blueblood groaned. Meanwhile, back in the throne room on the ranch.
But what about the children?
Twilight asked earnestly. Celestia waved a hoof.
Oh, my dear student, a heat lasting 10 minutes isn't enough to get anybody pregnant. As for yourselves, well, there is a heightened possibility, but still very low. Conception requires several days of heat to get the body ready.
Celestia said gently. She smiled.
Those who are already in heat just got an extra boost.
It's still... I mean...
She sighed.
I tricked the doctor. I tricked every pony.
Well, bitch.
You did what you had to do.
Celestia consoled Twilight. She stepped down from the throne and nuzzled her face.
And I'm sure he doesn't hold it against you. Any of them.
Twilight sighed heavily.
Yes, but I just...
Now, Twilight, don't be so hard on yourself. You saved the world.
Celestia hummed.
In a very embarrassing way, but you did save the world. You should not forget that.
I won't. I won't, Princess.
Twilight said. She winced.
This... Will it affect the studies of... my studies of friendship?
I believe it already has.
Celestia said with a wide little smile.
After all, I'm receiving letters from all your friends.
Quite calmly, the princess held them up.
Believe me, they're giving me a lot to chew on.
Meanwhile, in some undisclosed location on the ranch.
Dear Princess Celestia, I learned from this experience that you have to pace yourself. You must be like water, calm and relaxed, but strong when you need to be. Thanks to this situation, I've found that I'm not alone when it comes to finding a balance in my life, especially when it comes to sex. Well, I still blush when I write it, but I was able to do it.
Fluttershy smiled a little and paused, chewing a little on the quill of her mouth as she considered her next words. Big Macintosh grunted behind her as he moved rhythmically back and forth, a bead of sweat rolling down the side of his face. Fluttershy smiled dreamily and went back to the letter. In and out and in and out and in and out and in and out.
It's still pretty scary to push my boundaries sometimes, but with the help of my friends, I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to find my own pace and keep flowing, whether that means learning when to rein myself in or learning when to let things out. You goddamn succubus.
Succubus trying to take my baby. Macintosh let a deep groan, working harder now, pausing occasionally to flip his dampened mane out of his eyes. Fluttershy's ear twitched, the deep sigh escaped her, smile turned syrupy, and settled to the corners of her mouth. A blush began to rise gently on her buttery cheeks.
And maybe one friend in particular can help me more than others. But he's really good at it. He can help me for hours on end, if I need him to, if he wants to. Because friends ask their friends for help, and if they don't use their hypnotic mind control stare powers, sometimes they're pleasantly surprised to find out their friends really do want to.
The bed underneath her started to shake as Big Mac worked with all of his might. With one final shuddering movement, the big stallion raised himself up and dropped with a groan and a yell.
Oh, that's 300.
He gasped and rolled onto the floor, spent and gasping for breath.
Good job.
Fluttershy cheered quietly from the bed, beaming down at him.
That's a new record for squats, isn't it?
Damn it.
What did you think he was doing?
Well, I thought he was giving her a good old-fashioned fucking.
Yup,
Groaned Big Mac, as he slowly pushed himself back onto his hooves, his joints crackling like a series of gunshots. Underneath of his bed, Angel glowered and gnawed on an apple, furious at being dragged out of his element and into another male's territory. Big Mac continued to ignore the rabbit
Hellspawn.
policy that served him well thus far. Angel hadn't dared to bother the big pony after his first attempt at performing a flying kick against Big Mac had yielded nothing more than nothing further than a sprained ankle and a confused stallion.
But I'll smell like a whole mess of hogs,
said Big Mac, wiping the sweat from his brow.
Well, I'll take a shower. Have fun.
Responded Fluttershy, the blush on her cheeks starting to deepen and spread. One of her wings unconsciously rose to smack herself lightly up her flank. Sproing.
Would you like me to join you?
Spanicle! Big Mac eyed the sheepishly grinning mare with a warm but apologetic smile across his lips.
Talon, you're great. I'll be both enough if you join me in there. The whole dang house is gonna hear it. Oh.
Fluttershy's tail laid back down and she nodded.
Okay, I'll finish my letter then.
Yup, said Big Mac as he headed through Fluttershy's bedroom door. He paused and flicked his short tail upwards, brushed his hair swatting across his own haunch.
Got the afternoon free tomorrow. Don't suppose want to do something? I'm up for... anything. I'm sure I'll think of something.
Fluttershy returned smoking, batting her eyelashes. Big Mac threw a wolfish grin over his shoulder and ambled out of the room. Fluttershy giggled to herself before grabbing a quill and going back to her letter.
I got a lot to learn, but that's great, because it means I get to keep practicing, and practicing is a lot of fun. Say hello to Philomena for me, your faithful student, Fluttershy.
Alright, one last time.
What do you mean?
She's a goddamn succubus!
Succubus trying to take my baby!
Meanwhile, on the ranch,
In the throne room? Actually,
you
yeah,
done goofed.
quite literally on the ranch. Princess Celestia. Even in stressful situations, strangers can prove to be friends. I was almost done in by my fear of intimacy, but Soarin proved that you can't judge folks until the chips are down. Oh, those two again?
Applejack grumbled, looking up the farmhouse window.
Just don't quit. No, no, I remember when I had marathons with herds of stallions.
Granny Smith said cheerfully, trotting up slowly next to Applejack.
I'm right in a bit happy as can be to see me. Granny Smith, I really don't need to hear this. Again.
Granny Smith said, Applejack said.
Sorry, Madeline, one moment. Okay. Nonsense! Everybody was asleep, so I couldn't tell nothing about the good old days while you was having fun at the palace.
Granny said flatly.
Now you again listen and listen good. Since Matt Abby vile for you to know. Oh, now that you got yourself a gentle collar of your own.
Applejack grimaced.
Hey, I'll gentle collar, Granny Smith.
No, he's just your fuck buddy.
Oh, what is he then?
Granny asked, giving Applejack a deadly stare. Applejack heaved a sigh, unable to figure out how to articulate the situation with Soarin.
Admittedly, even now it's hard to tell just where we stand with each other.
She then heard the beating of wings and looked up.
But even when uncertain, sometimes you just gotta trust in those you don't know all too well.
Hey, AJ!
Soarin greeted cheerfully, fluttering down.
We have a date, remember?
That?
At his wink, Applejack smiled and nodded.
Right, all day. No, what in tarnation is this date business? You didn't tell me nothing. Who are you, anyway?
Granny asked flatly. Soarin smiled and bowed, his wings fluttering dramatically.
I'm Soarin, ma'am. Applejack's gentle cold collar.
He looked up and winked.
May I take her out for a spin to show her the sights? A lovely mare like yourself can surely understand a stallion's desire to do that for a mare.
For his mare.
Whatever. Applejack was about to scowl at Soarin, admonish him for presumption, but the knowing smile he shot her stilled her tongue. She smiled back.
Jitten good gatter? I thought you said he wouldn't know jitten good gatter.
Granny huffed.
Well, just...
Applejack smiled and extended her over to Soarin.
That right now.
Right,
He said with a smile.
just seeing where it goes.
Yeah.
Applejack said, her cheeks warming.
Well, no.
Granny looked back and forth between them, smiling.
I see.
She turned her head to scowl at Soarin.
You better treat her right, you hear?
Yes, ma'am.
Soarin said. Granny nodded. She looked at Applejack.
And if you two make a fool, name it after me.
She said cheerfully. They both blushed.
Granny!
Applejack gasped.
Wait. You know, if you're willing and to stay a while, I got some stories that might help you two out.
We've got to get going. We're running late,
Soarin said.
Hop on!
Right.
Applejack said, swinging her back legs over to sit on top. Flapped his wings hard, and the two ascended up over the trees. Applejack held on tightly and sighed in his ear.
Thank you for asking me.
Applejack said. Soarin chuckled.
Now you owe me 2 rescues.
Applejack smirked.
He's like, now hold yourself a moment. I didn't need saving that all the time. If anything, you owe me.
I say yanking you out of the water counts as a save.
Soarin argued. Applejack snorted.
Not if I jump into it, well, I? I'm the one who saved you, Ma.
I saved you just now.
Because sometimes, we all need a hero. Even me.
Applejack flushed and hugged his neck.
Yeah,
She grinned.
but I'm still ahead.
Soarin laughed.
Well, we'll see about that.
They flew on, passing by Rainbow Dash's beautiful cloud palace.
Don't mean I'm just going to accept it laying down, though. Your faithful student, Applejack. Meanwhile...
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the cloud palace above the ranch, where I can distinctly hear the sounds, gentle Mental Gen, of cameras rolling and the sweet sensual sounds of porn being made.
Dear Princess Celestia, before all this happened, I was terrified of sex. I mean, ending up having to sacrifice my dreams or be rejected by the pony I cared for? It was frightening. But now, thanks to the heat, I love sex! You would, Rainbow Dash. It's absolutely awesome! And I'm gonna get as much of it as I can! Thanks to my wonderful new buddies! Oh, yeah!
Dash sighed happily, lounging on her couch. Captain Galland nuzzled the back of her neck, sighing.
Yeah,
He said contentedly.
well, buddy, Captain Galland is my only regular, but it's alright. What happened to the others?
Rainbow Dash asked softly. The captain kissed her on the top of the head.
They're busy with the shadow boats, I'm afraid.
He said quietly. Rainbow Dash groaned.
Am I not enough?
You derped,
Sorry, my bad. Am I not enough, Rainbow Dash?
Captain said, looking a bit hurt. Dash shook her head.
That's not what I meant.
She grinned.
I just like having you all to myself. Makes me feel
She blushed.
special. You missed an end quotation mark. Trust me.
Captain said.
You are.
Dash sighed happily.
Flattery will get you everywhere. In fact, there are so many different ways to enjoy sex. I'm eager to explore them. Actually, I was wondering if you'd be interested in something new.
Said Dash with a smile. Galland nuzzled her neck.
What would that be?
Captain asked.
I met this pony after the whole thing at the palace named Rider North.
Oh, I get it. It's a reference to Peter North, the famous porn star.
Yeah, of course. But that's not all.
He's no Johnny Watt.
Yeah. He says I'm so awesome at sex that I should do it on camera.
Dash said cheerfully.
What do you say?
Galland stared at her in disbelief.
Rider North, the famous pornographic director? Yes, that's what it's called. Pornographic.
Dash said cheerfully.
I always thought it was called dirty magazines. At least that's what my mother called them. But apparently there are aspects of sex I don't know a lot about. I mean, okay, I don't know a lot about it, period, since it was my first time was with those guys. But since you gave me the go-ahead, I'm gonna keep exploring it and sending you my findings on it. It's only fair since you introduced me to the captain, after all. I hope you enjoy it. Your beloved subject, Rainbow Dash.
And now, I'm going to make one of two references.
Reference number 1.
It's some violent pornography, choking chicks and sodomy, the kind of shit you get on TV.
And now another reference.
Anyway, meanwhile.
Right.
The other reference comes in later.
Alright.
Meanwhile, in the confectionery store located on the town, adjacent to the actual ranch, but still located on the big-ass motherfucking ranch.
Dear Princess Celestia, what I learned is that I'm a really lucky pony who can always find ways to beat the odds.
Braeburn Apple entered Chip corner, his hat off and his mane combed. He coughed to get the attention of the two ponies at the front desk. They looked up.
Excuse me, soon, ma'am, but I gotta talk to Pinkie Pie, if you'll allow me.
Braeburn asked. Mr. Cake smiled and nodded.
Sure, go on right ahead.
He said. Braeburn nodded and trotted upstairs, soon coming to what he could only assume was the door of Pinkie's room. The pink giant and 3 balloons.
Wait, what?
The pink paint.
Where did Giant come from?
I have no idea. It's late. I'm tired. Shut up!
Shut up.
Don't judge me or I will make things happen.
Alright.
The pink paint and 3 balloon symbol on it gave it away.
Despite being a little... What's the word that Twilight used? Flippin'? That's it! Flippin'! I like to flip! Whee! Flip, flip, flip!
He knocked on the door with his hoof and burst open Pinkie Pie, smiling at him brightly.
Hi, Braeburn!
Pinkie Pie said cheerfully.
You're just in time! Yeah, about that.
Braeburn began, but was unable to say anything before Pinkie Pie yanked him in.
Whoa! Right inside, please!
She said, leading him to sit down on the couch. He got his bearings again before Pinkie Pie dashed off to what looked like the bathroom.
Just a minute, please!
Metal Jen? If you can't see where this is going, then you're blind or deaf, or perhaps both. But if you can't see where this is going, just wait 5 minutes. She cried as Braeburn could hear the sound of rummaging and crashing going on. He squeezed his hat nervously and waited.
Anyway, this experience awakened me to something very important. Ready?
Pinkie Pie said. She trotted up and set down a round white pad-like device in front of Braeburn. Pinkie Pie sat next to him, bouncing a bit in anticipation.
Pinkie Pie? What are we waiting for?
Pink, Braeburn asked.
Shh! Let's wait!
Pinkie Pie said softly. Braeburn licked his lips and fidgeted, watching the round object. Eventually, it turned blue, or killed the rabbit, depending upon which generation you're from. It killed the rabbit.
Dude, shut up.
You never heard that?
No, I have. It's uncalled for.
Yeah, killed the rabbit. Pinkie Pie let a nervous giggle. Braeburn blinked.
What happened? Well, I had to pee on that thing.
Pinkie Pie said, giggling a bit more hysterically.
For a little test.
She rolled on the couch, holding her sides. Braeburn laughed to himself.
What for? It's supposed to say, if you're pregnant.
Pinkie Pie laughed. Braeburn laughed a little bit longer.
So, what does blue mean? That means that I am pregnant.
And then Braeburn jumped out the window.
Shut up!
It's either that or I say the other thing.
Don't say the other thing. Hey, I approve of Braeburn Pinkie Pie. No. Don't ruin this for me.
Wire hangers. Pinkie Pie giggled. Wire hangers. Wire hangers. Pinkie Pie giggled. Fuck. Braeburn stopped laughing and gave it to Pinkie Pie.
This is the part where Braeburn snaps like a Twix bar.
Shut up!
Pink Pony stopped laughing. Looked over at Braeburn.
Did that not help breaking the news?
She asked, looking concerned.
Well,
Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie gasped.
Oh no! You don't mean you're not happy about this, are you? Don't even think about it! Don't you ruin this for me!
Fire the baby laser! Pinkie Pie held her hooves to the sides of her cheeks. Braeburn held up a hoof.
No, hang on! You don't want me to be pregnant! You came here to apologize! Say we can't be together! Say you've got some pony else!
Pinkie Pie cried. She got off the couch and galloped to the window, her hair flattening. Her lower lip wobbled as Braeburn got off the couch too.
Say, Pinkie! I did it! No! I'll have to be a single mother! Oh, the shame!
Pinkie sniffled.
Then I'll have to work alone, never being able to tell my daughter about her father, and then she'll seek you out and find a magic lamp with a genie who'll wish for us to be together, we can, because it's not that simple. We'll have a beautiful union. Maybe Gummy will be used as bait by our daughter to bring us together in an emotional scene end.
What the fuck is that a reference to?
I don't know.
Anyway. Braeburn sighed, spun Pinkie around and planted a kiss on her lips. Pinkie's eyes widened and returned the kiss, calming down as Braeburn embraced her. Their lips broke and Braeburn chuckled.
No, I'm fine with it. It makes my proposal a little easier to go through, though.
He took his hat off and futzed with it. Pinkie Pie gasped.
You mean? Well, I was gonna just ask you to go steady.
Braeburn admitted.
But, in light of this, would you do me the honor of...
He didn't get the chance to finish before Pinkie Pie squealed and jumped him. Guess no more wire hangers.
Fuck yeah.
You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Yes, I do. Shut up.
What's better than a bicycle rack? Or wheel? Metal Gen, I just gave you nightmares for the next 2 days. You're welcome.
The thing that I learned is that despite this unexpected surprise in my life, I'm looking forward to it. With my friends, family, and my stallion, I'm going to throw the biggest, bestest birthday party ever! For my own foal! Oops, foals, they're twins. Yep, your faithful subject, Pinkamina Diane Pie. And soon to be, Apple. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you may already know this, but I approve of the Braeburn x Pinkie Pie shipping. It makes sense.
I'm kind of meh either way. Meanwhile, back in the throne room on the palace in the big-ass motherfucking ranch.
So you see,
Celestia said with a smile.
it's not going to be easy, but change never is.
Twilight sighed and nodded.
You're right, Princess Celestia.
She frowned.
I just wish I knew why the doctor ran off. Do you think he hates me?
Celestia shook her head and wrapped a ring around her student.
No, he understands perfectly, believe me. The doctor used to be all about saving the world.
Twilight looked up, her teacher in disbelief.
Used to? But the master and the things...
Ah,
Celestia sighed.
that is a long, sad story all his own. But suffice to say, he's been bored, tired, and alone for a very long time. He has always needed a purpose, much like you.
She said with a smile and a muzzle. Twilight flushed.
You gave him a purpose again. You've given so many others.
The princess of Equestria, the goddess of the sun, winked.
And he's not too bad looking either, is he?
Princess?
Twilight gasped, her cheeks bright red.
How can you take this so lightly?
Ah, Twilight Sparkle, my wonderful young student.
Celestia sighed.
When you're as old as I am, you find that embarrassment can be a glorious thing. A little humility, a little humor at your own expense can make the world feel so much better.
She smiled and patted her on the head.
Trust me, he'll show up here. He just needs to sort this out a bit, ask someone for advice, and he'll be back to talk.
Princess smiled mysteriously.
Indeed, it'll be sooner than you think.
Indeed. Thank you, Princess Celestia.
Twilight said, bowing her head. She turned and trotted out the doors, leaving Celestia to watch her leave fondly. She then looked to her side.
You can come out now, Doctor.
Doctor emerged from what appeared to be thin air, and then gave the princess a tired smile. Thanks.
Don't thank me.
Celestia said coolly. Coolly. Coolly.
Shut up.
If we're gonna get coolly, we might as well get fooly.
He's a big fan of Fooly Cooly.
Also, there's a Led Zeppelin song where it's like, let's get fooly, let's get cool.
Maybe that's where the title came from.
Why not?
I already told you what to do about her, and I'm not telling you twice.
Dr. Sign examined his hooves. A bit of a nervous habit.
All right, he said. Just let me catch up with her.
He dashed back into nothingness, and a strange sound echoed throughout the throne room. Celestia shook her head and chuckled.
Just read it.
Now, Luscombe,
She said, turning to a curtain.
you, my dear, may most definitely come out.
The huge stallion emerged, flushing a bit. Yes, princess. Just one question.
Yes, my dear.
Celestia asked pleasantly, even as she turned and spread her wings and legs. Adrian Brody.
We had to work at least one Princess Celestia reference in here.
Yep.
Alright.
This is going to be a full-time commitment, or what? He asked. Celestia smirked.
That depends on how long you want me, my dear.
Forever. The stallion said reverently.
Celestia giggled. Then forever it shall be.
Some reference to something.
It's a phrase I've heard before.
Meanwhile, just outside, Twilight trotted down the path to the chariot that brought her to Catalog. 2 guards were waiting, silent, with folded wings. She was just about to step on it when some pony cleared his throat from behind her. She started, and then looked back over her shoulder. The doctor stood there, casually against his TARDIS, like a mouse. He smiled at her.
Hello, Twilight Sparkle.
Hello, Doctor!
I said, feeling a bit awkward. She trotted slowly up to him, stopping a few paces away. They stared at anything except each other for a moment before their eyes at last met.
I'm really sorry I skipped out like that.
The doctor said.
I had to consult with some pony I trust.
He looked to the side.
I wasn't sure what to say to you about everything.
And now? What do you want to say?
Twilight asked. The doctor turned back, smiled at her, adjusting his tie. It was in a bow now, bright red. She had to say she liked the look.
Bow ties are cool.
I like bow ties. Bow ties are good. Then I like you.
The doctor said.
A lot. Not just for the reason you think. Or maybe for them. Maybe or not. Maybe not.
He shook his head and smiled.
I'm already having trouble speaking.
You never had it before.
Twilight teased, just a little. The doctor chuckled.
I guess not. What I want to say is, you make me feel like a young stallion. Not just for the reasons you think, but...
He stared back, and now she looked into his eyes. She got a feel for just how old they were, how ancient, how lonely.
He's over 900 years old.
Yep.
Keep going.
I've been on my own for so long because, frankly, no pony needed me.
The doctor said bluntly.
Each time, each crisis in the last 2 years, you, Twilight, have been the savior of Equestria and the universe.
He smiled.
Magnificent you.
Twilight blushed.
No, I couldn't have done it without my friends.
No, you couldn't, but that doesn't diminish it in any way.
The doctor said.
The longest time, though, I haven't been needed. It was great for a while. I was content for a time.
He shook his head and looked at her.
But I think we both know that it feels better to be needed, to be useful, to be something, anything, than does to just be.
He shook his head and smiled.
And you made me be useful.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Thank you.
Twilight said, feeling incredibly flattered. So, I just off the controls, got everything humming again. He opened up the doors to his blue box and grinned. The old girl's still a bit temperamental, but she's ready to go too.
Go? Go where?
Twilight asked as he trotted the box. She looked in and gasped.
Oh my.
Go? The doctor grinned.
Absolutely, positively, anywhere.
Twilight looked back at him.
You're serious? You want me to come?
I think that's much.
Of course. You see, Twilight Sparkle, you stand up to me. You can outsmart me. You can surprise me, and I can in turn stand up to you, outsmart you, maybe even surprise you.
He grinned.
Surprise you a lot, and I like the way that looks on you. So,
He trotted in the TARDIS, right up to what Twilight could only assume was the control panel.
I want to see it more.
He smiled at her.
So, coming or not?
Twilight smiled back. She turned her head to the guards.
It's like, sorry guys, I got another ride.
She said. She trotted in, the door shut behind her.
Sorry, we can't do the TARDIS noise.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
What?
And with that, the strange sound, the blue box faded and vanished entirely. The two guards just yawned. After enough time in this job, they weren't surprised by anything anymore. Meanwhile, in the wonderful Carousel Boutique in Ponyville, located just outside of the ranch, but nevertheless still located on the big-ass motherfucking ranch.
Dear Princess Celestia, I've learned that dragons can be totally awesome in the sack.
Wait, what?
I mean, I don't even know what I was thinking in going after some lame pony when dragons are definitely where it's at. Especially Spike. That dragon is a hunk of burning love. He really gets my parts all hot and stuff. Spike!
Hunka burning love. Yeah. I'm just a hunka burning love.
And Spike is pretty much a paragon of physical perfection. He's like some kind of great miracle. I get absolutely
meat miracle.
Hot!
Meat.
But like more hot than I usually get. Just think about his enormous, dexterous tail. I just want him to rub my tummy violently and tell me that I'm a very naughty pony. Spike!
Jesus Christ.
I want Spike to be the one who takes care of me the next time I go in the heat, and every time after that, because once you don't go dragon, you don't go needing another wagon. Spike!
Rarity sighed.
I stopped talking 5 minutes ago!
Baby Dragon's eyes widened, and he carefully crumpled up a piece of paper he'd been writing on. Considering his options, Spike tossed the paper ball into his mouth and quickly chomped it down. For something that he regularly chows down on diamonds, the ball of paper wasn't terribly hard to swallow, if perhaps a bit dry. Oi! Oi, Rarity face off.
I've been standing here watching you write the entire time,
she said. Spike's shoulders slumped and he sat down on the floor with a boutique, with a thump and a sigh.
Sorry,
he muttered.
I know you're still angry about being left out of the being locked in the doctor's TARDIS while we solved every pony's problem.
While they got it on like Donkey Kong?
Please don't ever reference that again. Not in this story.
Spike drifted upwards. Smoke drifted upwards from Spike's nostrils, and he tried not to growl too loudly. Rarity reached out to pat him on the shoulder, then thought better of it and levitated a platter over him, the little dragon. Spike blinked in surprise, and then gave Rarity a grateful smile before going to town on a plate full of gems.
I'm sure it's hard to see it this way, but we were just trying to protect you.
Right, said Rarity, as soothingly as she was capable of.
There are things you're just not ready to be exposed to yet. There will be a time for all that later when you're old enough to properly deal with all of it. I know.
Spike grumbled.
I wanted to help. I know I'm not old enough, but it would have been nice if I could have. Instead of Big Macintosh again. Him and Fluttershy,
mused Rarity.
We were running out of stallions at that point, and some of us had to share.
Get it on, bang a gong, get it on. Spike's eye twitched. In one tiny claw he held a large diamond. The gemstone had been forged by the heat and pressure of a volcano. Carbon had been formed and compressed into the hottest naturally occurring substance on Earth, except for talcum. As Rarity stared off in the distance with a faraway look on her face, a thin strand of drool threatening to fall from her lip. The diamond shattered in Spike's claw.
How strong is he?
He's goddamn Colossus.
Yeah. What?
Sudden Rarity, pulled away from her reverie by a chunk of diamond bouncing off her horn.
What were we talking about? Oh yes, I really am very sorry, Spike, but there's nothing for it. I mean, how many years are there between us? Some pony would have to be extremely uncouth to want to see the two all of us be physically intimate when you're so young?
They paused and turned to glance in the reader's direction. You, sick monkeys.
Yes, you!
All of you sick monkeys.
Yes, we can see you. Just because we are voices on a YouTube video does not mean we can't see you.
Anyway,
Like Celestia, we're watching you clop. And to this, I have this to say. Stop it. Stop it now.
watch you clap, you just can't stop.
Shut up.
Anyway, hi, I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC. Anyway, and then shrugged and went back to the conversation.
Yeah.
Sickies. All of you. Sickies.
Yep.
Said
Yeah.
Spike after a moment.
He's like, yeah.
Said Spike after a moment.
All things considered, I'm kind of glad you're not that kind of pony. Precisely.
Beamed Rarity.
And like I said, plenty of time for that later. Yeah.
Spike said glumly.
Later.
He frowned and then glanced up sharply.
Wait, you mean us later? Oh, Spiky Wikey. Shut up.
I fucking hate that.
Whatever, just deal with it.
I can't stand Spooky Wakey. What the fuck? Cool Rarity giving little dragon a big old hug.
You punched a goddess in the face for me! A girl doesn't forget that kind of dedication.
'Cause he's goddamn Colossus. Spike's eyes widened.
You mean it? I don't want to make any promises.
Might die by then, said Rarity carefully.
There's no telling what might happen to either of us in the meantime. But, all else being equal, as soon as you're legal, as soon as we know when that is, well, you've got a date. For sure. A date?
Said Spike.
You saw what I did to Big Macintosh on our first date.
Wink wink, nudge nudge. Haha, said Rarity with a wink.
A date?
Cried Spike.
That is, assuming you'll still want me by then.
Said Rarity, frowning a little.
What?
Spike almost yelled.
But I got his face for you! Oh, I know, Spike.
Said Rarity, rubbing his scales tenderly.
You've certainly got a lot of passion. But let's face facts. I honestly don't have any idea how long it'll be before loving you isn't a federal crime. I might be hideous by then.
Hi, I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Never!
Declared the young dragon who had never seen Rarity first thing in the morning.
I know it's hard to believe.
Rarity sighed.
But there will come a time when these looks will fade. I couldn't ask you to chain yourself to an old crone just because of a crush, Spike. I would never!
Spike let out a whimper and leaned against Rarity's side, hugging her desperately. Rarity ignored the way his scales dug into her skin, put a comforting arm around him, hugging back.
I wish there was a way I could speed up time or something.
Plot convenience in 5.
No, not yet.
5.
No. Wait.
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
That's what I said. In 5.
Right.
Spike muttered against the unicorn's coat.
But just for me, and then I could be older, and you could still be you, and we could be together. That's impossible, I'm afraid.
Said Rarity, patting him soothingly.
Spike!
Yelled Twilight as she burst through the door of the boutique.
Spike, where are you? Do you mind?
Shouted Rarity.
We're in the middle of an intimate moment. Ah!
Screamed Twilight, covering her eyes and bolting out of the room.
Not that kind of intimate!
Rarity snarled.
What's up, Twilight?
As Spike, still clinging to Rarity, Twilight reappeared in the doorway, now accompanied by the doctor. Both ponies were grinning from ear to ear.
The doctor's leaving.
Said Twilight.
To go and have adventures through space and time. Oh, Twilight.
Gasped Rarity.
I'm so sorry. He asked me to go with him.
Twilight squeaked.
And I said yes! What?
What?
Actually, could you do Spike?
Yeah.
Okay. What?
Yes, said Spike and Rarity.
You're welcome to come along, of course, Spike,
Said the doctor.
You wouldn't have it any other way, really.
Isn't this exciting?
Said Twilight, literally vibrating with glee.
We're going to be explorers, studying things that no pony's ever studied before. Oh gosh, I can hope I can bring enough notebooks. But I don't want to leave Ponyville.
I have to make a reference really quick.
All right.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Her 5-year mission to seek out new life, new civilizations, to explore strange new worlds, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Star Trek, wrong theme.
I know, but this is Doctor Who.
Besides, if I had to rank Star Trek and Doctor Who, it goes number 2, Doctor Who. Star Trek will always be superior in my mind.
I don't really watch Star Trek, so Doctor Who all the way. Anyway,
Captain Kirk has fucked and talked his way out of more wars than any human being in history. What has the Doctor done? Caused more wars and fucked things up more than any transdimensional being in history.
there will be a time to debate Star Trek and Doctor Who later. This is not the time.
Or the place.
I was like, but I don't want to leave Ponyville.
Said Spike, his eyes starting to brim with tears.
I have friends here.
He turned to Rarity, who smiled sympathetically and squeezed him closer.
I dare say we'll be a bit too busy to really miss any pony.
To the Doctor.
It's not really like they'd have any time to miss you.
Huh?
Said Spike.
We're going to be traveling through time, Spike.
Said Twilight with a chuckle.
Well, we'll be gone a couple of years, maybe. But for every pony here, it'll be like no time has passed at all.
Dun 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 dun. Rarity started to grin hugely. Spike took a hesitant step away from her and stared incredulously at Twilight.
Wait,
He said,
you mean we'll get older while we're away, but every pony else here in Ponyville
he gestured at Rarity.
will just stay the same? Yes!
So the Twilight and the Doctor. Spike leaped into the air with a shout.
When do we leave?
For great justice.
It's like, actually, can you do Spike again?
Yep.
Okay. Dear Princess Celestia, today we learned that good things come to those who wait. Your faithful subjects, Spike and Rarity. Alright.
Meanwhile, just a little ways down the road. Nothing important, really.
Alright.
Twilight sighed as she brought the last of the supplies. She left them just outside the doors of the TARDIS and beamed as she galloped up to the side of the Doctor. Spike was still gawking at the interior, looking around.
So, it's bigger on the inside.
He said. The Doctor grinned. Yep. He fiddled with some stuff on the console, including what looked like taps for hot and cold water. He adjusted a zigzag plotter and hit a few more buttons.
Dimensionally transcendent, huh?
Spike asked. The Doctor blinked. Twilight giggled.
You've been paying attention. Of course I pay attention. When do we leave?
Spike asked flatly. Soon, the Doctor said. She's a little rusty.
How rusty could she be?
Spike asked, poking something that looked like a rubber clown nose on the control panel. It squirted water into his face.
Gah!
Twilight giggled. With her magic, she lifted a piece of parchment and began to write.
It's like, Dear Princess Celestia, it's been a long, weird week.
You're telling me, sister.
But I have learned a lot of things about my life, love, and friendship. First, love can be scary. It can bring out the worst in us. Ah!
Screamed Big Mac, flailing off the bed in a tangle of flailing hooves.
Oh my.
Said Fluttershy.
I'm sorry, was the clown mask a bit too much?
Wah-ha! 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 Wah-ha!
He's like, and it can bring out the best. Wow.
Applejack gasped as she held her chest. They landed on a cliff top overlooking the entire big-ass motherfucking ranch! The entire cloudless big-ass motherfucking ranch! That allowed the sun to shine brightly down upon the glory of creation. That was the big-ass motherfucking ranch!
Way did that?
A little extra mass once I broke the sound barrier.
Soarin asked with a grin.
You bet.
Applejack smirked.
How much extra mass we talking here?
Hey, I'm not that brave.
It can be fun and unexpected. Yeah. How about candy for a Billy?
Asked Pinkie.
Candy apple. Candy like sugar pie.
She's my... I like that.
That's cherry pie.
Still, she's
My cherry pie.
said Braeburn, cuddling the pink pony closer.
Yeah. It's like, they're going to have your name, though.
Said Pinkie, nuzzling him.
We can get Madden.
Said Braeburn.
The apple pies. If there's a coat, we can name him Dutch. That's actually kind of clever. Well, that was Braeburn, so it's clever boy.
Alright.
Yeah, it's like it can let you fight on to the finish. Come on, Galland.
Groaned Rainbow Dash.
One more. You can do it. I haven't got it in me.
The guard pony yelled, straining.
I can't hold on. Yes, you can.
Moaned Rainbow Dash, holding her stallion tight.
I believe in you. Yeah.
Ryder North's glasses fell off as he gazed and awed the scene taking place before him. By Celestia, that's beautiful, he said. The spray is just... Did we get that? Tell me we got that.
He can be forgiving, and it can bring us hope. It's like, I'll be right here when you get back, Spike.
Whispered Rarity as she looked out of her top-story building, the blue form of the TARDIS.
Don't you dare forget me.
Don't you forget about me.
It's like, and it can give us patience and courage we never knew we had.
All right, she's prepped and ready to go, the doctor said with a grin, finishing up the preparations with a mallet to the control panel.
Where are we going?
Spike asked. The doctor threw his hooves into the air. Not even the slightest clue. Spike gaped and looked at Twilight.
Twilight!
The purple unicorn smiled.
And like friendship, it's a wonderful adventure just waiting to be experienced. I'm ready when you are!
My body is ready. Cried cheerfully as she trotted to the doctor. He grinned and rested a hoof on a big shiny lever. She blushed and rested her hoof over his.
It's like, it's the doctor.
Here we go! They pulled back the lever and the TARDIS took off. Spike yelped and grabbed onto the control console as the entire ship shifted and bucked. Twilight and the doctor whooped in glee, and soon Spike joined them. Onwards and outwards! The doctor cried.
Woohoo!
Twilight and Spike agreed.
And it will make you never want to say goodbye. It'll just make you look forward to the next time you say hello. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle.
And now, if you thought we'd seen the last of him, he's back, bitches. Sup, bitches? The Master fumed as he watched the blue form of the Doctor's TARDIS spinning away into the time vortex. He turned away from the monitor, allowing his own time-ship senses to continue tracking it.
So, Doctor, you got that old junker running again just to take your little strumpet and a pet lizard with you.
The Doctor shook his head and chuckled.
Just like old times. We'll go ahead, have your little adventures again.
He rubbed his hooves together.
Because no matter where you go, or what you do, I'll be right behind you, waiting. And when the hammer falls, I will be there swinging it as at last you fall silent.
So,
said Trixie slowly.
When you say hammer, you mean your penis. And when you say silent, you mean because he'll have it in his mouth.
The master sighed and scowled at her. You're still here?
The great and powerful Trixie has no intention of letting that little purple upstart outdo her again,
said Trixie.
If Twilight is going to have interdimensional adventures and lots of hot sex with an immortal time pony, then Trixie intends to as well.
I don't care what the stupid, insufferable Trixie wants,
said the master through his gritted teeth. You're not coming. Trixie grinned and leaned in close to the master, letting her breath waft over his ears as she whispered into it.
That's not what you said to Trixie last night.
The master sighed.
Fine.
He gritted out.
Just try not to be totally and completely worthless, and maybe this can work out.
Trixie shivered a little and bit back a moan.
Yes, master!
She said, grinning. She had to admit, it wasn't exactly what she had in mind when she'd answered the advertisement paper all those weeks ago. It was better. For the master's part, he looked out over the external view offered by his TARDIS's sensors and scowled. The gorgeous weather just made his mood even worse.
Why must it be such a beautiful day?
The
end.
Wow! Wow!
We gotta do the credits. All right, Middleton. The end.
We're going to do these credits by who voices him.
Right.
Twilight Sparkle, Tara Strong.
Wait. Twilight Sparkle was played by
Tara Strong.
you.
Oh, you mean like that?
Doing a terrible impression of
Tara Strong. It's like, fine, we'll do it your way. Go ahead.
It's comedy.
Yeah.
It's each one you say.
Right. Twilight Sparkle is played by Tara Strong. Rainbow Dash is played by Ashley Ball.
RazortheAwesome doing a terrible impression of Ashley Ball.
Hey, what can I say? I'm not a woman, and
Right.
I'm damn proud of that. I cannot do a good woman's voice like a woman can.
Pinkie Pie was played by
Andrea Lidman.
Applejack.
And hey, it's Pinkie Pie. Let me do this. Pinkie Pie was played by Andrea Lidman. Applejack was played by Ashley Ball. Fluttershy was played by Andrea Lidman. Rarity was played by Tabitha St. Germain. Spike was played by Kathy Esluck.
The Doctor was played by
Daedaltheus XIV doing a terrible impression of David Tennant and Matt Smith.
Princess Celestia
Was played by the narrator, bitches.
You have to say.
And Nicole Oliver.
It's like, Princess Luna was played by Tabitha St. Germain. Braeburn Apple was played by Andrew Francis.
Luscombe Nordram was played by James Earl Jones.
The Master was played by John Sim.
Kind of.
The great and powerful Trixie was played by Kathleen Barr. Velvet was played by Athley Cavandini. Nightshade was played by A.G. Daly. Matrix was played by Chris Simmer. Captain Galland was played by Nathan Fillion.
That is some fucked up shit.
Sergeant Mustang was played by Travis Willingham. Sergeant Zero was played by Mark Hildreth.
Sergeant Thatch was played by Michael Bine. Soarin was played by Matt Hill.
Big Macintosh was played by Eden New.
Pip was played by Matt Stone.
Applebaum was played by Michelle Kramer. Spitfire was played by Merrick Hendriske?
Indrisk.
Spitfire was played by Merrick Hendrisk. That is a sexy name. Stormcrow was played by Paul McGann. Zecora was played by Brenda Critchlow.
Prince Blueblood was played by Trevor Duvall.
Deputy Whooves was played by Tabitha St. Germain. And again, I am sorry, Bald Dumbo Rats. Caramel was played by Scott McNeil. Hansel, the male pony model, was played by Owen Wilson. Nay Gaiman was played by Jermaine Clement.
Terry Pratchett was played by John Cleese. Lance was played by Richard Newman. Cherry Stallion Cocker was played by George Oh My Takei.
Snips and Snails were played by Mike Judge. Toback was played by Chris Sabat. Hey, wait a minute. There was a role for me in this thing, and you stuck it for me! God damn it, William Shatner! I'm sorry, Vegeta. It's just that I'm never gonna kill you!
Rookie was supposed to be played by Matt Hill, but I can tell you, even though I may be blind, I have no idea what the motherfucker sound like.
Lucky was played by Brian Drummond. Vince with ShamWow was played by Scott McNeil. It's like Hoops was played by Tony Sampson.
Score was played by Samuel Vincent. And Dumbbell was played by James Arnold Taylor.
Granny Smith was played by Tabitha St. Germain.
This was written in Google Docs, a production of Andrew Joshua Talon, Friendly Uncle, and the Sage of Toads for the purposes of accusing bronies about their sexuality. Catering provided by Shoop Cube Corner. No ponies were traumatized during the making of this fanfic. Plotfics of the events of this fanfic will no doubt resemble reality, but with much more worse spelling. While not encouraged, filling in the sexy blanks of this story will not be discouraged either. In other words, start your word processes, bronies. The Doctor, Twilight, Sparkle, and Spike will return in The Deadly Curse of Fatal Death. Oh, thank fucking Christ, it's over.
Remember, just one last thing. We have to rate this story.
Fuck me, Ray Bradbury.
I guess I'm gonna go first.
Wait a minute, I forgot to do my last reference. Skip a bit back to the porn scene.
Which one?
Ah, fuck it, I'll just do the reference.
Mm-hmm.
The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn.
Actually, it kind of makes sense now, considering what you just talked about.
Me up all night hugging me horn to porn, porn, porn.
Right, and now on to the ratings.
You go now.
This is one of my all-time favorite stories on FimFiction. It gets a 10 out of 10. No contest, no questions asked. I'm not even going to explain why. It just does.
Alright then.
Mm-hmm. What about you? What's your rating?
9.5 out of 10.
Alright. Well, Mental Gin, that concludes Beating the Heat.
Oh, thank Christ. Jesus, you got it all over.
This is not over, however. We will return
with our next
epic, dramatic
fanfiction reading. What will it be, Mental Gen? Well, all I can say is this. I got this. Well, perhaps maybe you should guess. Maybe pray to a god on a cross. And perhaps go play with an